Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. I appreciate y'all being here. And if you're new to the channel, if you're finding this for that very first time, welcome as well. It's good to have you. And as a quick reminder, the focus here on the channel, the mission here in the channel is I want to be able to deliver as much information as I possibly can to as many people as I possibly can, across all regions. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe to the channel, when you choose to like the videos, and when you choose to share the videos with associates and colleagues. So if you've not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. If you find the information beneficial, please like the videos and please share the information with your colleagues and associates. And to learn more about me and learn more about my company and how we can help take your business to that next level, be sure to check out the links below. And a couple places I would point you initially is certainly go to our website, fmconsulting.net, where you can currently gain 100% free access to our gym management playbook. And then also, if you're looking to grow, you're looking to expand, you're looking to increase your marketing, check out the links for gym financing, where we can help provide financing for your gym up to $300,000 in financing with a 680 credit score and a minimum income of $50,000. So check those out. We hope to see you over there. And with all that said, let's get into our topic today, and it's tips to negotiate a favorable gym lease. I want to give you some tips to negotiate a favorable gym lease. Here's the thing: you just don't sit down and sign it. Okay, I asked a client one time. He had signed a very unfavorable lease, and he's a pretty sharp guy and very successful. I said, "What made you sign that?" And he goes, "Well, I thought they were all the same. I thought this is just what everybody did." And so, don't. Okay, we want to negotiate this. And the thing about negotiating a favorable gym lease, if you're brand new to the industry, if you're getting ready to renew a current lease, if you're moving your location, could be a lot of opportunities in here for you. So let's jump into this and let's see if some of this can help you, get a good gym lease to make sure that your business is has a nice foundation for success. Because one of the things too to remember, the gym industry is very much a fixed cost business, and two of your bigger fixed costs are going to be payroll, which we'll talk about in other videos. But the other one is your rent. You get that rent, you don't negotiate it right, you're going to be living with that for a long time, and that can put a lot of pressure on sales if we don't do it right. So number one on my list here is know your budget. Know your budget, okay? And so when you're getting ready to negotiate this lease, what must you have, what you must have, and what would be nice to have, okay? Make sure we know the difference between the two. But when I talk about budget, the first thing I'll look at is just the total amount of what your rent's going to be. What's that monthly rent going to be? And at maturity, and typically I'll define maturity as 12 months, okay? Once you've been open, once you're in business for 12 months, that's maturity. Could be a little bit longer, but for the sake of this video, we're going to call it 12 months. I prefer, in a perfect world, I like to see that rent, your lease payment every month, to be 15% of your revenue. That's the number. Maybe you could do it at 20, maybe you could do it at 25. Perfect world, I like to see it at 15%. Because keep in mind, if your payroll is at 40, you're at 15, there's 55. If everything else is 10%, there's 65. Now you've got some good margins. So know what your budget is, know what you can deal with, know how you can handle this. And in some cases, if the rent is higher, how do you mitigate that? Okay, we'll talk about some other options in here and how you can do some of that. But know exactly what your budget is. I'll give you one more that I like to see when it comes to knowing your budget. Okay, and this is for a new club startup. It could be for, if you're going to renegotiate your lease, this could pertain too. But you're going to do a pre-sales, right? You're going to do that initial pre-sales, say it's 90 days. What I like to see you do when you first open, get 90 days of abated rent. Okay, no rent first 90 days you're in the building. This will really allow you to put that money back into marketing, back into promotion. Let's get our sales up, okay, while that overhead is low. Okay, this will allow you to, kind of reach that maturity so much quicker. So I like 90 days of abated rent once I'm in. If you're renegotiating your lease, let the landlord know, hey, I need some time to ramp up, my monthly dues. So know your budget. What must you have? Those are some things that I like to see. Number two, this one might be one of the bigger ones, actually, if you get the right one. But get somebody to negotiate for you. Get someone to negotiate for you. Okay, outsource it. I mean, there's a lot of real estate brokers now. Like anything else, some are better than others. Okay, but find someone who's going to represent you in your best interest. But get someone to really work through this with you, because I can give you examples over the years. In these negotiations, some folks will just kind of lay down, so to speak, and hey, they'll sign off on a personal guarantee. And more often than not, you're going to have that. Okay, but if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Everything's negotiable. We've had we had one landlord that agreed that if the tenant, this new tenant, made every payment on time for 2 years, that was the agreement. If they made every payment on time for 2 years, they would release them from the personal guarantee. So get someone to negotiate for you that really is representing you, not just trying to get the deal. Okay. Number 3, I see this happen frequently, but make sure we're negotiating on more than one location at a time. Make sure we're negotiating on more than one location at a time. The problem is if you're negotiating on one, you're kind of pigeonholed. Sometimes you have to do exactly what they want, because if you don't do it, you don't have a deal. Okay, but have a couple deals going at the same time. Have a couple deals going at the same time. A lot of brokers that I talk to, they don't always want to do that. They want to focus on this one. But the problem for you, that gym owner, that entrepreneur, if you don't get it, then you're starting over again. Okay, and plus there's no leverage in there. Okay, so negotiate on more than one deal at a time. Okay. Number 4, don't pay what they're asking for on base rent. Okay, don't just assume that's what it is. It's not like going to the grocery store and here's what you're going to pay for a can of beans. Okay, it's all negotiable. Typically, if I had to just pull a number, you could probably get it for 10 to 15% less. You might get it, less than that even. Okay, if you're willing to shop around a little bit, but don't just go out there and pay what they're asking for on base rent. Don't just assume that's what it is. Number 5, check the square footage yourself. Let's just say they're saying, hey, we've got 10,000 square feet. And when I say 10,000 square feet, I'm talking usable square feet. I'm not talking space that can't be used. I don't know, you're not going to pay for that. Okay, but check this square footage yourself. If you're able to go in there and do it, or have someone else go in there and do it. Mistakes are made, and you don't want to find yourself paying for more square footage than you're actually getting. Don't just assume it. Go in there and check it. Okay. Look at getting better base rent by negotiating a longer term. Get better base rent by negotiating a longer term. In the gym industry, depending on the sizes of your space, but say it's 10,000 or better, the typical lease that we see is it's a 5-year lease with 2 5-year options. Get a longer deal. Maybe it's a 10-year lease in some cases. Okay. Now there's other things that play into this, personal guarantees and other things. But so be mindful of that. But if you're signing a 1-year deal, you can probably get a better deal if you do 2 or if you do 3. Okay. Lock it in. Okay. But get a better base rent by negotiating a longer term lease. Number 7 on my list, I kind of touched on this a little bit, but look for free rent. Look for free rent. And depending on your situation, I'll give you a couple examples, but first I'll go back to the one that I mentioned. On any kind of new project, I'm always going to ask for at least 90 days abated. Maybe ask for 6 months, maybe ask for 12 months. Okay. We're involved with a project right now. They're getting 15 months abated rent. Okay. Now, in exchange for that, they're going to do their own finish out. So that was kind of the balance on that. But be looking for opportunities for free rent. If you're renegotiating your lease with your current landlord, don't be afraid to ask for some free rent in there, because the benefit to you is just give you a chance to really ramp up those monthly dues, because depending on where you're at on these recurring fees, you want them at a minimum of 80% of what it costs to operate the business. Okay, if you're not hitting those kind of numbers, ask for that free rent, or even if you are, why not? Okay. Number 8, add a sublease clause. Make sure you can sublet this place. Say for example, you decide not to do it, or it's just not what you want to do, or it's not working the way you want. You want to be able to sublet it to somebody else. Okay, simple as that. Because what your job is here is protect the investment. protect the investment. Add a sublet clause. You can sublease this space if you decide you don't want to do it anymore, or part of it. I've gone in as an owner, and I've gone knocking on doors and say, hey, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing, I love your space here. Hey, would you be interested in going on vacation, and I'll sublet the balance of your lease. And I've gone in there and taken over deals where I've got like 3 years left on the lease. It's under market. It was great for me. It was great for them. Make sure you negotiate a sublet in that agreement. Number 9. This one, folks don't think about this one near enough, but have a co-tenancy clause written in. Have a co-tenancy clause. Now, here's what I mean by that. In most centers, you have an anchor tenant. I know for me, when I was building clubs, I always wanted that grocery store. I wanted that grocery store because it had a very diverse group of people, a lot of volume, going all day long, okay? And so what I mean by a co-tenancy clause, if that anchor tenant moves, you can get out of this lease. If that anchor tenant moves, okay? Because that anchor tenant moves, that changed the whole dynamic of that center and changes the whole dynamic of what you're going to pay for it, okay? Number 10, include a clause preventing leasing to a competitor. Get a clause in there preventing them leasing to a competitor. The last thing you want to do, you cut this nice lease, and now all of a sudden, a year later, they've leased to a national chain at the other end of the center, and you're competing in the same center, each of you paying the same landlord. Okay, make sure you include a non-compete agreement in that lease. Okay. Number 11, pay attention to your HVAC responsibilities. Air conditioning. Okay, pay attention to that. Typically on a new deal, when we get in there, we want that landlord to inspect it, just acknowledge that, hey, it's in good working order, and they're going to warranty it for at least a year. It's normally what we'll see. Okay, but don't just walk in there and don't just assume responsibility yourself. I know I did a deal one time. We were building a new club, and we were doing pre-sales, and the pre-sales is going to be in the same center as the same landlord, same everything. And they said, oh yeah, we can lease you this space over here for pre-sales, and it's this much square feet. Well, turns out it didn't have any air conditioning in it. Okay, we got that resolved. But pay attention, to the HVAC responsibility. Okay. Number 12, you want to negotiate this finish out allowance. Okay, your tenant improvement dollars, whatever it cost you. Like, typically, if you've got a 10,000 square foot space, let me grab my calculator here. And so if you've got a 10,000 square foot space, make sure my math is right here, it's going to cost you about $350,000. To finish out that building, to get it ready to go. Okay, it's about what it's going to cost. These are your tenant improvement dollars. These are negotiable. Okay, I've seen situations where landlords have said, yeah, hey, we'll cover that for you, but we'll include it in the lease amount. We'll bump the lease up, by $1 or whatever it is. We'll cover that. We'll cover half of it. Okay, or maybe you cover all of it, but you get extended abated rent. Okay, but just know that your finish out dollars are negotiable. It's all negotiable. Okay, over the years we've been involved in thousands of these. I think it's safe to say no two of them have ever been alike. Okay, number 13 on our list of negotiating a favorable gym lease. Okay, negotiate all available perks. All available perks. What are they? Is it free Wi-Fi? Depending on where you're at, right? If you're in an office building or something like that, free Wi-Fi, employee parking, trash pickup out back, whatever it is, look at all the available perks, negotiate everything, hit every point. Don't just sign it and go. Okay. Now, number 14, and this one has we've become more aware of this one, okay, because of recent events, but carefully negotiate anything related to a forced closure. Okay, a forced closure. We went through this, a couple years ago, forced closure, and it wasn't part of the lease, and many landlords demanded their rent. They wanted their money. Others were easier to work with. But get this in the agreement. If you're ever forced to close, you want this addressed. Okay, let's just kind of prepare a little bit, for what the future may hold. So, 14 tips to negotiate a favorable gym lease. Take a look at them. If you're getting into this, okay, use this guideline to create a favorable lease, or give us a call. Happy to chat with you about it. You can check the links below. If you're looking to move your location, you're looking to negotiate a current lease, use this to make sure you get what you need, because you're going to live with this for a long time. Okay, it's not just a moment in time. It's a moment in time to get it done, but it's going to be there for, in many cases, 5 years, and if you have options, it might be there longer. So folks, again, my name is Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting. And quick reminder again, our focus here on the channel is we want to be able to provide as much information to as many people as we possibly can across all regions. And the best way for us to do that is when you choose to subscribe, when you choose to like the videos, and when you choose to share them. So if you haven't done that, now's a good time to do that. And again, to learn more about me and my company, check out those links below. You can go to our website at fmconsulting.net, get a free access to our gym management playbook. We'll look forward to seeing you over there, and we'll look forward to seeing you on that next video.